Welcome to the Village in Howard. TVIH enriches the lives of county seniors to age in place, to socially connect with others, and to remain active as long as possible. Today we continue the 6th session 2025 Spring TVIH Life Planning Series with Guardianship and Alternatives session. Next Wednesday at 10 a.m. we'll have the last session on what is dementia like. As a bonus, we are offering 2 hands-on dementia experiences with Dementia Live on May 21st at 11 o'clock, right after the What is Dementia Like, and a second one on May 22nd at 10 a.m. All these sessions are open to the public. We hope you can join us. If you have any ideas for future sessions, please see me at the end of the session. Today we'll learn about guardianship and its alternatives. You'll learn practical, realistic information about what you can do now before you lose mental capacity. Give your family and friends a gift so they legally can have the right people take care of you and know what you want and don't want. Why do we need to plan this phase of our lives? Although retirement can be fun, eventually we may not have the ability to enjoy it as much. We hope you'll see the reason to re-examine and start the final step of your plan to help yourself, your future caregivers, and your loved ones through this phase. So let's welcome today's speaker, Deb Magin, the Howard County Public Guardian. She has been in the field of aging since 1980, working in Chicago as an activity director in a nursing home, a program manager of a medical adult day center, and an elder abuse investigator for 15 years. Since moving to Maryland in 2000, she has been with the Office of on Aging and Independence. Welcome, Deb.
Thank you. Thank you very much. As Michelle said, I'm Deb Magin. I've been with the Office on Aging for 25 years, and I am looking forward to retirement this June, so I'm excited to
take your place then. I'm sorry.
Good question.
Okay.
They have to hire someone. So I'm here to talk about guardianship and its alternatives. I always like to start my talks, regardless of who I'm giving a presentation to, with 3 words. Guardianship is bad. Guardianship is always, even for families to become guardianship is always the last resort. Because once someone is under guardianship, they basically lose their civil rights. It's like they're 4 years old all over again and someone's making decisions for them. So, alternatives are a very big deal. I do want to mention on the slide, a public guardian is appointed, Howard County employee. It depends, that's obviously for Howard County. But for example, you had a loved one who is living in owned property in Baltimore County, you would file a petition in Baltimore County, where the alleged disabled person resides. It's always alleged disabled. Only a judge, after a hearing, can decide if somebody lacks capacity. Okay, that's just something I wanted you to know. We can go to the next slide. 5 Wishes is a form of advanced directives. I brought a whole bunch here. I like 5 Wishes because, I'm sorry, I'm walking out of the camera. It gets into some real personal things, such as what kind of music would I want playing? You know, just because someone may be in a coma or unable to respond, doesn't mean they can't hear what's going on. You can add, do you want a dog to come visit you? if you're in a facility. You can add much more personal items in the 5 Wishes booklet. I will say, no matter what type of advanced directive, so I don't go out of screen, I'll just give the first row a couple. No matter what kind of advanced directive you do, you want to make sure somebody who's going to be involved has it. There's so many times my office was appointed, someone had an incident, maybe they had a stroke, and now they can't speak, and family couldn't be found, but our office was appointed as public guardian, and then a month later, I ended up finding a family member. So all that court stuff could have been avoided. And the family member I found was listed as healthcare agent. Guardianship trumps all the other, you can go ahead, types of alternatives. A law that took effect in Maryland is called supportive decision making. Now, you can have mild dementia, all right? But you still get to decide if you want a hamburger or a hot dog for lunch. But you may not understand more complex medical issues. You may not understand more complex financial issues. Finances can be very hard for a lot of people. So, with Maryland supported decision making, which is now, the hospitals now understand it, there will be a form posted on the Villages of Howard website, but it doesn't even need to be on a form. You can choose 1, 2, 3. You know that saying, it takes a village? It takes a village when you get older, too, to help you out. So you can choose, they don't even need to be family, they can be close friends, people you trust, to help you make decisions. For example, you end up in the hospital's telling you you need assisted living, you can't live alone anymore. You gather your trusted people on the supported decision-making form or handwritten agreement, there's no legal form, and they talk to you. They can go check out the assisted livings and they help you make that decision. As I said, even with dementia, there still are some things you can decide. Do you want to live in an urban area? Do you want to live somewhere where you look out the window and see horses? There are things people can decide, no matter how confused they may present. They help you. They can still make decisions. They help you. You, the person that needs help, decides what decisions you need from others. For example, Michelle, they say I need an assisted living. I don't care. Can you just pick one for me? Somebody may say that. Or, Michelle, you're one of my supported decision makers. I want to live somewhere where I look out my window and see horses. Can you find me an assisted living like that? Doesn't mean you have to pay for it. But you would do the legwork if I couldn't, for example. You have to be over 18. That's part of the law. So we want adults as decision makers. It's with or without a written agreement. A written agreement does hold more power if the hospital social worker is looking at you kind of funny, like, Michelle, you're just a friend. You know, what gives you this authority? And Michelle can whip out the supportive decision-making form. This does. And Mike is another supportive decision-making person that Deb chose. and the hospital needs to honor that. If a written agreement used, it must include all items required by law. And you do have an example of it, Michelle? Okay. My information, how to contact me, how to communicate with me. Am I hard of hearing? Do you need to, yeah, maybe I'm hard of hearing but refuse to wear a hearing aid because I want you to think I'm 25 still. Do you have to speak up? Do you have to write stuff down for me? Maybe I'm anxious. I can hear but I'm anxious, so you must approach me gently. So how you want people to communicate to yourself and how you communicate? I tend to be sarcastic. It's just who I am, so I may say something sarcastic to Michelle, but she knows that already. She should if I chose her to be one of my decision makers. People not to ask to help you, okay? Unfortunately, we see this so much in guardianship. Let's pretend I'm a millionaire and I have a kid that wants my money. Right? And my kid isn't that close to me. What do you think my kid's going to do? Is my kid going to make appropriate decisions for me or for themselves looking at that money down the line? It depends on your relationship with people, because there are people, Michelle mentioned I was an elder abuse investigator in Chicago for 15 years. I have seen families that look so wonderful from the outside, but then I dig in and it's like, yeah, he is stealing money from his dad. Financial exploitation. So you want to be very careful who you choose. Identifying your supporters. Conflict of interest, I just touched on that. Doesn't need to be your children, don't need to be your grandchildren. It just needs to be people you trust 100% with your life, literally. So think about any conflicts of interest, identification of support. In what ways do you want these people to support you? Just because you made a supported decision-making agreement doesn't mean you want them to support you in every aspect of life. Does it, for example, I'm a vegan. Very important to me. So that doesn't mean Michelle can force me to eat meat. How? What kind of support? You can have multiple supporters. You don't want to have too many. You don't want to have 12.5 supporters, because can 12.5 people really get together and all agree? So multiple, you can maybe 3. Or an alternate supporter. If you only have one, like Michelle's my only supporter, but if she can't do it, then Mike can come support me. Okay. Guardian. This is where it gets a little tricky. A guardian, once a guardian is appointed, it overrides everything, even supported decision making. And that's why guardianship's last resort, even for family members. A rent payee if there's no guardian of property, because what happens in guardianship is you have what's called a show cause hearing. If nobody's contesting, somebody's appointed that day. And guardian of property doesn't mean physical property. That confuses a lot of people. Everybody gets some kind of income. You might get a pension, Social Security, maybe even just SSI because you never worked. or Social Security disability. That's still considered property. A guardian of property deals with the money. The court appoints an attorney. The Office on Aging and Independence only acts as guardian of the person. All this other stuff, power of attorney, healthcare agent, even supportive decision-making kind of goes out the window when a guardian is appointed. Now, we, the Office on Aging and Independence, appreciate advance directives because oftentimes there's family, and there's family that petitions for guardianship of mom, but then they fight in court because they don't agree. It happens. So then the judge will send them to mediation. They either refuse to go or they fight in mediation. Who do you think is appointed guardian? A public guardian. When there's an advance directive, at least here in Howard County, and I'm sure all the jurisdictions, we get a copy of that advance directive and we honor it as far as the person's wishes. It's very helpful. Luckily, in all my years, I've never seen an advance directive that said, keep me alive no matter what. In that case, we follow what the doctors say. And the judge is the ultimate guardian. Even if a family member becomes guardian, the judge is still the ultimate guardian. So the judge has to approve what public guardians do. And though there's times when they wonder about family guardians, and we've had family guardians removed and our office appointed. When you become guardian, you have to do an annual report. It's a report to the court, it's a form you fill out, where they are now, what medications, how often do you see them, pretty simple stuff. So, ending the agreement, supported decision-making, honestly, just like power of attorney, just rip it up and say, you guys are no longer my decision makers. There's nothing you guys can do about it. So it can just be ripped up. You can add dates to the form. Just like power of attorney, some power of attorneys, like my mom had one, now she's in a nursing home in Chicago. My brother was made power of attorney because he's still there, but she had it start when two doctors felt that she could no longer make decisions. And that's when he was able to make decisions for her. Supportive decision-making is the same way. Is there another slide? Okay, yeah. Just like I said, guardianship, null and void, all that other stuff. The guardian becomes the only decision maker. That goes for guardian of person and guardian of property as well. If your mom, say, owns a $3 million house in Clarksville, the guardian of property is now in control of it and can sell that house because it's your mom's and it's meant for her care. And I find that to be a big deal with a lot of people, especially once a public guardian is appointed. Public guardian can sell that $3 million house and place mom somewhere really, really expensive and nice. Family would get any money after mom passes and it goes into probate. Are there any questions? If not, I can get a little deeper into guardianship itself.
I have a bunch. You want us to
Okay.
wait?
Do we need to stop?
I have a bunch of questions.
No questions now, at the end.
At the end, okay.
We want to record the end.
Okay, questions at the end, you said you have a bunch. Okay, so, petitioning for guardianship. Throughout the state of Maryland, actually, but I'll stick with Howard County. If you're 65 or older, it's the Howard County Office on Aging and Independence where I work. If you're 64 down to 18, it's Department of Social Services. We're getting a lot of people as soon as they turn 65. Hospitals, nursing homes are petitioning. Sometimes I feel like they're waiting for it to be us. Because if DSS is appointed guardian of someone that's 64, they keep that individual to the end of their life, or until guardianship is terminated. Once an older person is appointed a guardian, terminating guardianship's a little bit difficult. We've done it. Perhaps someone had a stroke, but with proper therapy, you can recover from a stroke. You know, they're functional again. We have them reassessed by a physician. The physician determines they no longer need a guardian. In my program, less is more, because we are virtually making decisions for strangers, for the most part. Now, I don't think any of you would want me coming up to you saying, and I wouldn't do it this way ever, but, what's your name?
My name is Christine.
Christine, hi, I'm Deb. I'm your decision maker. I don't think you'd go, And I decided you're gonna move out of your house and go to Happy Acres Assisted Living. Not a real place, I just made it up. How would you feel?
Well, by that time, maybe I wouldn't feel anything at all. But the stranger is the family.
Okay, so, public guardian, we don't know you. The hospital wants you out because they need the bed. They're saying you need a nursing home or assisted living. I and the case managers would certainly go talk to you. What area? Where do your friends live? We try to place you in your, if you live in Columbia, we'll try to find somewhere in Columbia so your friends can come visit you. If you want to see those horses, we'll place you out in Woodbine. We place outside of the county a lot as well. So yeah, I do my best to find you a place with horses, so you can look out the window and see horses. We talk to you, we try to get to know you. Now, if you're nonverbal, it's a guessing game. And just because you're nonverbal doesn't mean you're not thinking, right? Maybe you had a stroke and lost your ability to speak. That doesn't mean you're not thinking. So it's difficult when a stranger comes in. On the guardianship petition, one of the questions they ask, and I won't get too deep in it, is what alternatives did you try and failed? And I see stuff like in-home caregiver, Connections Senior Program, Medical Adult Day Center. Yeah, and you put down everything, all the possibilities. Caregiver program, which the Office on Aging has. You put down everything you tried, it's just not working. He or she needs a guardian. In the ranking, the judge will first look at the spouse. That's priority. Our clientele, 65 up, usually don't have parents or parents willing or capable. So then they'll look at adult children next. Is there an adult child? So they look at family first. Then they go outside, is there a friend of 50 years that knows the individual really well? We are absolute last resort, and for good reason. As I said, we don't know you. We don't know your history. We don't know anything about you. What if I chose an assisted living for you that was in the country, and you hate the country? There are people that hate the country. You prefer a lot of people around. You're miserable, aren't you? So you don't get any extra money in public guardianship. I get calls all the time from family members where we want you to be guardian because then there's more money. And I have to explain, we use the individual's money. We, the Office on Aging, does not pay for the assisted living. The individual's going to go to an assisted living they can afford. We do not have the money. So that's going to change. The best number actually to call, I'll be retired at the end of June, is Maryland Access Point in Howard County. Very easy number to remember. She's saying it. 410-313-1234. They couldn't have come up with an easier number. So you can always call Maryland Access Point, 410-313-1234, and they will direct you to the correct person to speak to about guardianship. If you need to petition, we're happy to walk you through it and tell you what you need to do. If you're interested in supported decision making, we can talk you through it. We cannot give you legal advice. Ever. We're not attorneys, but we can talk you through it because if you're calling me, you're going through a stressful time. And I'm going to do, or whoever is going to do whatever they can to make that stressful time easier for you. Okay, that pretty much concludes it.